like when the brand split kind of thing happened, it was almost like they felt like they would have been better on SmackDown, where the title was more up for grabs and more competitive, because they knew for like quite a while now that they were just going to run with the New Day and everyone else was just going to get stepped on by them along the way. So it was kind of unfortunate, but now I guess the opportunity has arisen that they can now actually show what skills they got and actually show that they are capable champions. Kind of a shame it came at Sheamus and Cesaro's expense. But, you know, like you said, they have been waiting a long time, and, you know, there'll always be other stuff going for Sheamus and Cesaro. They're incredibly versatile kind of guys.
The only thing for me when I think about the fact that Anderson and Gallows are one is that they're the heel tag team again. So I think it gives more teams on Raw the chance to go up against them, like Enzo and Cass. Of course, there's bound to be another couple of matches, maybe with Sheamus and Cesaro for sure. Probably more than likely going into, what have they got? Fastlane, isn't it, on their side? So maybe that will happen there, or maybe even on Raw tonight, who knows? But I'm sure they're going to get a few more out of them. But yeah, I do think by having the heel champions, it was tough to do it with New Day, and sometimes New Day kind of played the bad guys sometimes because they had to, because they'd held them belts for so long that the babyface teams just weren't even getting a look in. So yeah, it's kind of cool that they've finally done it. But yeah, like I'm kind of I was just starting to get into Sheamus and Cesaro, but you know, I'm hoping that they don't break them off straight away, because again, there's not really too much going on for these guys unless they are together at the moment. So hopefully that doesn't mean the end for those two together. Moving on, Matt. Nia Jax up against Sasha Banks in what was, you know, the shortest by a long shot. But man, I wasn't so much surprised on the winner, going into it, but then I was surprised at just how easy it was for Nia Jax. This was almost like a squash match, Matt. And this is Sasha Banks we're talking about. This was, I really felt for her in this one, because I felt like, Christ, they are not, you know, they've certainly taken her stock down a hell of a lot here. Now, I know what they're trying to do with Nia Jax, but is Nia Jax really the person, like when you've got Charlotte there, they're going to have, surely not going to go with heel on heel. So I was just surprised the way in the victory came at that. There was hardly any offense from Sasha. It was very one-sided and very fast.
Yeah, I mean, it was a little bit strange to see it go down that way. I was kind of like left wondering, like, did Sasha annoy someone that she shouldn't have? Is she being punished for some reason? Like, I would have thought, you know, it would have been a little bit more even. That, you know, it might have even gone to another match, not been quite as decisive, you know. But, you know, it's difficult to call this now. I just can't see where they're going either. I guess. Well, my only guess would be is that something's going to happen along the way to WrestleMania. You know, they might have to do a four-way match or something so that Nia can pin one of the faces, like, and then still become champ, maybe. Sure.
Yeah, so that was the pre-show, guys. We had it wasn't a bad pre-show for a change, which is good. They had a lot of things going on. Okay, well, let's now get into the Royal Rumble itself. And of course, Matt, the whole theme, as we've said so many times going into this, especially on our preview, Rumble, remember the Rumble. God, I nearly got it wrong then, even though I've heard it about 100 times. Remember the Rumble. That was the theme of this match. So everybody wanted to forget the last three. Certainly me and you did, Matt. And we were going into this with high expectations, you know, big audience, 30th anniversary, even though it's kind of not the 30th anniversary. It's kind of next year that it should be the 30th anniversary, but that's another story, because, you know, we only start on the one at one time, but never mind, let's get past that. And of course, Matt, the idea that you know, Goldberg and Lesnar had kind of like been pressing towards this. So I was going into this match with, you know, although it is a Royal Rumble, although I didn't enjoy the last three, all that much. I had a little bit more expectation on this one, Matt. And of course, the first match of the night, we started straight off the bat with the WWE Raw Women's Championship match, defended by Charlotte up against Bayley. And a few people emailed me in, Matt, and they said, did I have a problem with, or did we have a problem with that match kicking off the show? And my answer to that is no, because at the Royal Rumble it is different. You've got that massive Royal Rumble match in it, and the placings are always slightly a little bit off at the Royal Rumble, so it's not like, I don't think they deliberately said that is the weakest match. I don't think that was at all what they were going for. I felt that was actually to get the crowd wild up even more, because it's a lot more hotter and a lot more fresher if you do that match there. Whereas maybe if it was like behind one of the men's title matches, it might have been that would have been, for me, that would have been a little bit worse. So this was actually the perfect for me. I wouldn't have really wanted it anywhere else, other than maybe if it could have just gone on before the Rumble. That would have been the only thing better. What about for you, Matt? Does that bother you at all that it did start the show and it wasn't the cruiserweight match?
No, I find that to be the perfect placement, really. Like for many of the reasons you were saying, people in the audience have already seen pre-show matches. Not everybody watching at home is going to watch the pre-show. Some people are just going to turn straight onto the main pay-per-view. So, like, turning onto that, and then Bayley's coming out, and then the crowd will just erupt again. So it's almost like they've kicked off the show like afresh again. Sure.
A few notes I made. I felt Bayley was really over with the crowd, first and foremost, and Charlotte looked like $1 million. As she always does. She carries the belt so well. Probably, I still think, Matt, she's still the most legitimate, like she looks like the most legitimate champion currently in WWE at that time anyway, that they've got. She just got some, she just oozes charisma when she's coming out of it. And the match itself was pretty decent. What did you make of it yourself, Matt? And like, did you feel like, I mean, before we get to the result itself, did you think like the chemistry was there, that they handled it right, that it wasn't quite what I saw in NXT between them, which I was quite glad about, but did you think the match was good enough, Matt, for these two? Because they are essentially two of the biggest names, pioneers for the women's division.
Yeah, given like the structure and the way that they know that Charlotte was going to retain and all that other stuff, I think they did very well under those limitations. I mean, Bayley couldn't go out there and outshine Charlotte, but then that would be difficult to do anyway. But I don't know, it just kind of felt almost as if it was too easy for Charlotte. I know they tried to make it look like Bayley had her moments here and there, but at no point during that match did I think that Charlotte was going to lose that belt. It was just almost like there was something missing there, because I needed a little bit more drama. It just seemed very clean cut, like the whole finish and everything. There was no questions about it. It almost looked as if Bayley doesn't deserve to be in the title picture at all after the end of that one. Yeah, the finish to it was, I just felt like they doubled down on it a little bit with Charlotte, and I was thinking to myself, well, where on earth do they go next? Because that was pretty easy. She's, you can't keep going back to Sasha Banks, and Sasha Banks has just lost, about 20 minutes ago before that, so that's not too great either. So where on earth are they going with Charlotte? And it got me thinking, Matt, is there going to be something where it may be someone from the outside, of WWE plucked somebody to go up against Charlotte? Or are they, of course, going to go with what you said, Matt, and have that sort of fatal four-way, which, okay, good, but I mean, if you want to do something where it's like the Daniel Bryan heroic ending for Bayley, I think it would be a lot better if it was one-on-one than in a fatal four-way, where she could probably cover anybody, and then you go through that whole story again. Well, Charlotte never got pinned and all this lot. So what do you think there, Matt, is the thinking behind this, but behind her, going over so dominant in this one? Yeah, well, I definitely had a feeling, that before this, that Bayley was on that path leading towards WrestleMania. But after losing like that, it's hard to come back from that. It's hard to actually justify how you lost that match and then go on to win arguably like a more important match further down the road at WrestleMania. If I had to hazard a guess at anything right now, I would say that they're looking at Nia thinking, well, You know, she looks great as a dominant kind of woman in this company, so maybe we should give her a run, which wouldn't be too bad, I guess, because it's like giving someone new a shot, because we've had a lot of Charlotte. I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but this has been going on for quite a while now, you know, and the belt is a great tool for making new kind of superstars, and some people are missing out on that now.
Yeah, I'm with you there, and I just think they're a little bit short. I think we've said, Matt, you know, we would have preferred if the all the women were just on one show and make that roster a little bit bigger, that division a little bit bigger for them. Just unfortunate that how that's worked out. So Matt, summing this one up, giving it a star rating. For me, you know, it might sound a little bit off, but I'm only giving this a 3 just because it wasn't terrible, but it wasn't anything extra special either. I just felt there was something missing, and I really, between these two, I expected a little bit more. It did go spot on, in fact, on 13 minutes. That's exactly when it ended. I kind of bought into some of those forced finishes, but at no point did I think Bayley was going to be winning that title at all. What was your sum up of the match, Matt, and on ratings there?
Yeah, I'm going to have to do the same. Definitely sitting on the fence with a 3
Yeah.
here because, you know,